Hey everybody, it's Coach Jan, and it is January 11th. This is our training session, Tai Chi to the People, presented by Justice for Hire, the first cinematic universe made with the community. Our first show we're producing with the crowd, where anybody can become part of the cast as a hero or a villain or a client. You'll know what that means when you check a look at justiceforhire.app. So you can join, everything's happening over there. If you want to get a broad sense, you can go to justiceforhire.com. You can still access justiceforhire.app from justiceforhire.com. And we share Tai Chi every week. It's my favorite thing to share. I'm the former coach and captain of the U.S. Tai Chi push hands team. And I love it. It's one of my favorite things to share. It helps, it enhances everything I do. That being said, all these training sessions are always free, and we always dedicate our training to the noble cause of the week. And this noble cause this week is actually what is the company that's producing Justice for Hire, Real World. That is my production company, technology production company. And we're focused on making movies and shows with the world. So you can take a look at what we're doing at Real World at wefunder.com/realworld, REELWURLD. And this video will live on the my Tai Chi channel, on YouTube, as well as the Justice for Hire YouTube channel. But I will be doing a more focused discussion on how Tai Chi has helped me with creating Real World and throughout the entertainment business and all aspects of business and life very shortly on my Tai Chi channel. I'll probably post it on Justice for Hire too. So whether you subscribe to either one or both, thank you. And I hope that you do if you don't. And let's get started. So for Tai Chi today, oftentimes people, my mother actually asks me oftentimes, are you teaching Tai Chi today, or are you teaching Neigong or Qigong? And I think it's important to remember, if you don't already know this, then this is news to you, but Qigong is a very broad set. It's a concept of breathwork, visualization, and body mechanics combined together, and essentially lots of things can be Qigong. Tai Chi is a martial art. It is a fighting style, and it is Qigong also, but it's essentially a martial art where you slow yourself down to speed up your perception, increase strength, sensitivity. If you are aware of time under tension, that concept in training, where you do something for the longer you have under the tension, the more strength you're going to get. So think about that when you do Tai Chi, because essentially, even when you're as relaxed as possible and you're moving in these motions, you're actually giving yourself the ability to not only understand more of what's happening in the body, but to have more strength while you're doing any particular exercise. So today, actually, Mark is joining us right now. So Mark, Mark, a very studied Tai Chi practitioner and teacher himself, has just joined. And yeah, we're going to do some fun stuff today. I am feeling my Sifu, my Tai Chi Sifu has given me some wonderful teas that's helped me through COVID, and I feel phenomenal right now. So I'm really grateful for that. And I really want to when it comes, Mark, anything that you'd like to work on today for Tai Chi?
No, nothing in particular, Jan.
Nothing in particular?
Yeah, anything is good with me.
Okay, well, I wanted to share some concepts of Xinyi, and like Xinyi is another completely. It is considered one of the internal arts, internal fighting styles in Chinese martial arts. That being said, Xinyi and Tai Chi are very, very different. But we've taken, as the U.S. Tai Chi push hands team, several Xinyi exercises, specifically from the 10 roads, quote unquote, the 10 roads of Xinyi, which is a set of Xinyi taught to the Chinese army back in the early 1900s. So we've taken some of these exercises and applied it to our competitive sports push hands exercises, and or specifically our drills that we do so that we can perform better in the ring. So I want to share some of this today because it's awesome. And the 10 roads, we won't go over all 10 roads, maybe we will eventually, but there is one exercise are two in particular that I thought were really, really helpful. And this first one, let's start out with our feet shoulder length apart parallel. Imaginary straight lift from the top of the head, tailbone pointing straight down. So lift and drop tailbone. There's a lot that can happen in between there, meaning you can give yourself the sensation of relaxation, cascading down the spine and relaxing lower and lower and lower and lower until the tailbone falls down. I find that that helps me a lot more than just lifting and dropping. So you can actually move the attention. You can use visualization and breath as a vehicle, exhaling down, moving the attention vertebrae by vertebrae downward, softening, minimizing the tension, only the tension necessary to hold the posture, pretty much in anything you do, softening all the way out. Soften the knees so they aren't locked, they're not straight. Same with the arms. The arms aren't going to be locked, they're going to be palms facing down, very, very soft elbows. So you'll have that natural curve. Special attention on the middle finger of each hand. The weight shifts mostly to the heels, or should I say the center of the heels. So I think it's really important to differentiate between going on your heels, which is the point, the farthest point of the heels is often the mistake made. You don't want to do that. You want to keep it right in the center of the heels. And note that dropping the tailbone, all that is going to affect the posture. If you keep the flex in the lower back, you might find yourself a little bit more toward the arch in the foot or the ball of the foot or even the big toe. So you drop that tailbone and focus right on the center of each heel, like there's a nail right to the ground coming out of that center point. Mouth closed, all the breathing through the nose, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth, slight tension in the anus. All these little checkpoints are called the inventory, and this is, of course, guilt pillar. And inhale, using the belly, more specifically 3 finger lengths below the belly button, to pump the air. That point, 3 finger lengths below the belly button, corresponds to the centermost point in the belly area, near the spine, called the lower dantian, considered the second chakra in yoga. Inhaling to the belly. Exhale, push the collar down the arms to the palms and fingertips. As you inhale, you want to see, feel, and experience the breath gathering in the belly. Exhale, push it down the arms to the palms and fingertips. Inhale deep. Exhale. Drop the hands, inhaling up. Breath lifts the wrists. Exhale, push the collar to the palms and fingertips. This is uplifting heaven, inhaling deep. Exhaling down. If you've done this with us before, you know that this is our normal warm-up. Exhaling down. Again, inhaling up. Exhale, push the collar out. Inhaling deep. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhale. Breathing formula 2, inhaling up. Even deeper. 2-stage inhalation. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Going into the balls of the feet. Pushing off of the heels. Exhaling down. Even deeper. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Breathing formula 3. 3-stage inhalation. This is only 1. Inhaling up. Exhale, wash out. Now the 3-stage. 1. Deeper 2. Even deeper 3. Exhale. Again, inhaling up. Exhale. Even deeper 1. Even deeper 2. Even deeper 3. And now 4-stage inhalation. Inhaling up. 1. deeper 2, deeper 3, deeper 4. Again, inhale at 1, deeper 2, deeper 3, deeper 4. Again, each one of these we've been using the breath work, the color visualization, gathering in the belly, exhale, pushing the color throughout the whole body. But now we're going to get even more specific in terms of the muscles. So we're going to use the belly, then the obliques to support the belly, then the lower back to support the obliques and the belly, and then we're going to use the entire waist. Each stage is going to activate different muscle groups until they're all united. And of course, while you do this, you want to make sure that you have the visualization. The reason we start with the breath work and the visualization is so that you can make sure that that is the foundation of all the movements, all the breath work. And so once we add different muscle groups in, you are essentially layering the concept and the mechanic of the muscle, integrating it into the breath work and visualization. So you really want to make sure that again, the breath, the visualization is the core thing that activates everything else. And even deeper beyond breath work and visualization is intention. So the intention behind these movements and the willpower, etc., is really what we're training here. Because so eventually you won't necessarily need all the things all these mechanics layered on top of each other, but you still train them over time, because that is the main thing we want to work on is being able to know the structure and then to deviate from it when it's necessary. So the structure here, color to the belly, stage 1. Activate the obliques, stage 2, really feel it. The obliques helping you pull even more area and more color into the belly. Stage 3, the lower back activates. And stage 4, the entire belly, obliques, lower back, all at the same time. Expanding out like a bell, stretching out of the hips and out of the shoulders, and exhale. When you exhale, pushing the color from the belly through the whole body, through the limbs, like it's all washing out. And again, belly, obliques, lower back, entire waist. Exhaling. And relax. Notice how I just relax. These little transitions are moments that oftentimes are not covered in Tai Chi forms, and at least in my experience, or I see a lot of practitioners not focusing on the transition. So really soften in the groin, step out. My toes are touching first. You can also step with your heel first if you'd like. Whichever one you want to plant down, that's fine. I'm planting my toes down, ball of the foot, heel. And now I'm in my half horse stance. I'm going to fix the camera so you can see that a little bit more. Half horse stance, seated, hollow fists rested right. Hollow fists are like a little meditation, but a little bit deeper. Meditation hands. Inhaling up and connecting it right to my hips. And then I release the concept of any unnecessary tension. It's up here. And boom, relax my elbows. So I don't want unnecessary tension in the upper back to hold this posture, so I soften out. The real thing you want is the connection between the hip and the hollow fist. This concept comes into play during grappling. Very, very important concept. And one move that we have here, drawing the bow, when we do this Neigong exercise, we have this wonderful little drop right here. The drop happens here. Sometimes you energize the finger to emphasize the elbow dropping even more. But that little drop is actually a pin that you would see in judo or any grappling sport or grappling martial art. So these pins, rather than being tight with the elbow and gripping the opponent's arm down, you want the structure to be downward, the idea to be so downward that it, as a byproduct of your structure, locks the opponent. So rather than to think about locking your opponent, your structure, which is all about your flow and all about your intention, as a byproduct of your structure, you get the result that you want. So it's just a different way of thinking about goals. Your structure begets the goal, but the structure is not about the goal. The structure is about you and about your posture, the beauty and balance of your own posture. So by having the beauty and the balance of your posture, you get the goal that you want. And that is a real big deal from my experience in training in Tai Chi and push hands and all my martial arts training. But that really came from my experience with Grandmaster William C.C. Chen and the concept of creating shapes rather than thinking about hitting. And so therefore you can remove the concept of the fight and actually still get the result that you need from the fight in a moment, a martial moment. And I think it's really, really important. I say that to any fighter that I meet, because as a former fighter myself, I think that I would have benefited from that a lot more than hit, go, So it's just a different way of thinking. So that idea, these concepts all come into play when you do even the smallest thing. This little connection here, again, the willpower keeps the connection here to here. The willpower, in the same way that the willpower pins the arm. Again, it's not tightness, it's a drop downward, and that's your shape. So here, it's not tightness keeping it on, it's the connection, boom, and you relax, you soften out, so that the shape is softer, and that you can really feel your willpower holding this here. You can feel it in the mind. Inhale into the belly, while you hold this shape, all these little details add up. Exhaling, pelvis rotates on the femur. Down, breath pulls you to the side and up, eyes on the belly button. Exhaling down. Inhale, breath pulls you to the side and up. Exhaling down. Inhale, breath pulls you to the side and up. Exhaling down. Remember, the breath should feel like a rope. And then release it. And then reverse it. This motion that I'm doing with my hand, you can do it. It's not necessary. I'm doing it just to give you a sense of how the breath should feel and how the visualization should work, meaning that you're pulling in here and you exhale and you release it. The same way you feel the breath coming out, you use that sensation to help with the visualization, help you get a stronger visualization, exhaling, pushing it out. Inhaling into the belly, the idea is here, rather than up here in the lungs, right here in the belly. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhale up. And down. So let's talk about Xinyi. So with Xinyi, I would never call myself a Xinyi coach or a Xinyi master or anything like that. Xinyi for me is like yoga. I've been doing it for a very long time. I have grown up around it, and I know how to adapt it into my ecosystem. So when I share this with you, please know that's how I share it. Tai Chi, I am a Tai Chi coach, and I have lots of merit-based achievements on that. So my intention is to be able to pull aspects of other arts into my Tai Chi and especially my sports Tai Chi training, so I can help other people get great achievements in their sports, their life, etc., or specifically in Tai Chi push hands. So that is where I'm coming from with sharing this. So let's talk about the salutation first. Inhaling up, my feet are about 45 degrees out, the heels touching right now. So inhaling up, exhaling down, salutation. And now look, my palms end here. Both palms facing down. If you want to be really strict, you can keep the fingers facing each other, or you can just keep them gently facing down. But notice that my fingers are rolled out. My fingers are rolling inward, which creates this structure right here. There's so many different applications to a thing in martial arts, potentially infinite for any particular posture, movement, etc. So I never want to say that this one thing means this other thing. It can mean lots of things. But for me, I often use this essentially as a ridge hand to keep some distance between and just a little blocker between. You see this often in judo and sometimes in wrestling. Boom, like Greco-Roman. Keeping a little distance, this posture between you and an opponent. If you have an arm, if you grab an arm, etc., or if someone's got an underhook here, and you're essentially putting this right on their belly or somewhere in the lower midsection to help you control the distance. So it blocks them from doing a throw and it helps to set you up for doing one. That being said, you have two of them. Sometimes using two of them does help in push hands, etc. We'll show those applications another time. And if you have any questions or want to see those applications, put the a comment in the video in the comment section of the video, and I'll surely address your comment desire to see. But this is just a transition moment. So feet together, inhaling up, exhaling down. 1, 2. I'm going to inhale and an uppercut. Inhaling the uppercut. My other hand is going to turn, palm will turn up. I have scar tissue on both wrists, so my palms will never turn all the way up in the proper quote unquote form way, but palms down. Inhaling up, uppercut. This uppercut cuts right across the shoulder level. So boom, 1, boom, 2. You have this wonderful uppercut. The uppercut, of course, doesn't have to be a hit. It could be a crank, it could be a twist on an arm, it could be lots of things. So, but you are spinning the knuckles, these two, exhaling the breath through these two knuckles. Excuse me. Exhaling up, knuckles out. And then this palm here, as the waist wants to return back to center, hands come out. So you have the left hand over the right middle finger touching the pulse area of the left extended hand. The hand is about as high, or the middle finger is as high as the nose. And I'm standing in what's called a cat stance or a hanging leg stance, just so that you can get a sense of the posture here. So I'll do all of it so you can see. I'll step back even more so you can see a little bit more of the full execution here. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhaling up. Really connect to the breath first. I think these salutations are a great opportunity for you to connect to making sure that the breath is motivating all the movements, which is the Tai Chi principle. Exhaling down. Boom. Notice I soften my knees too. I soften my knees. Inhale up, uppercut. And now my waist wants to come back to center. As it comes back to center, I step my left leg forward, and my left hand comes out with the left leg. Boom, right here. Getting a little closer. And again, this hand should actually be nose level. Your middle finger should be nose level, nose height. Boom, right here. So now let's talk about there's all these roads, these different drills that you do from Xinyi from here. So once you have your salutation up, exhale down. Let's do it one more time, inhaling up, exhale down. Inhaling up, exhale out. And now there's a bunch of roads. We've done actually some of these roads previously on I think early last year, maybe even the year before. So there are some videos on the roads of Xinyi, but I want to show you this one in particular, or maybe 2 in particular. This one is called the Cannonball. It's actually the last of the 10 roads. The reason I want to show it to you is because of how we've adapted it for Tai Chi push hands, sport Tai Chi push hands. So from this posture right here, you're going to sidestep with the right foot. So here, you're going to shift the weight forward slightly. So here, shift the weight forward, sidestep, and drop. I'll show you the original exercise and then how we've adapted it. Inhaling up. Out. Step out, side step, the arms come down, and then double punch. A double punching movement. How many times have you done a double punch movement in your fighting art in sparring? I mean, quite honestly, I have done palms before, I do pushes, etc. That happens all the time. But specifically a double punch, because the intention behind a push is very different than the intention behind a punch. Therefore, the intention changes the body mechanic ever so slightly, but it does. So therefore, the difference between a push and a punch, they're very, very different. And so I've done the pushes, double pushes before. Double punch, I really have not done much when I was a kid, when I was fighting with little kids. When I was a kid, maybe sometimes. But you know, they're not very coordinated. A coordinated person seeing a double punch come out, probably gonna hit him in the head or etc. So double punch, sure, we can keep the tradition. It's a great exercise. It's a great way for you to push the breath work, the visualization, the chi, quote unquote, through the knuckles. You can totally do pushing the breath work, visualization, the attention beyond. It's great. It's great exercise. These roads you do in a straight line, so you can't do it anymore. So here I'm going to come to the camera. Notice how the fist pulls the stance. The fist pulls the stance. I'll step back even more. I go down, the fist pulls the stance. So you can do this with an inhalation or exhalation, but it's important to note that because inhaling changes the body structure and exhaling changes the body structure, that choosing one or the other matters. And so you can do both, but it's important to note the value, the pros and cons for each one. So if I'm doing, let's say, and before I even go deeper into the inhalation, exhalation here, let's talk about what happens prior to that, which is this move. Because this move is going to dictate whether or not you inhale, exhale here is going to dictate whether or not you inhale and exhale on the next one. Of course, you can do an exhale here and an exhale here. That's called a two-stage exhalation. You can do an inhaling here and an inhaling here. That's a two-stage inhalation. Both are excellent. We've already done, we started our routine today with uplifting heaven, and we went from one stage to four-stage inhalations. So those inhalations are meant, and exhalations are meant for combinations. And not just combinations in fighting, but combinations of multiple intentions within a singular movement or a singular breath that you might have to do in life. You know, whether you're opening a door and you can pull it one way and then you have to pull it a little bit more, and you have to activate your body in an efficient way to accomplish the goal. So these multi-stage inhalations or exhalations are very important for doing multiple things with one breath. So that being said, this motion here, as my father and I were originally taught, is essentially blocking, and I know I've talked about this before, blocking a roundhouse kick with your super strong knuckles. Now, I would never do that. It's a horrible idea, but that is traditionally how it was taught to us. Boom, you block it, someone kicks, you block a kick, and then boom, you punch back. Cool. Very cool, but not necessarily realistic. So let's add a little depth of a little bit more. That's not saying that there are some people that can probably do that, because I'm sure there are. I'm sure they're very few and far apart, if any. So that might, you know, someone might kick and boom, I'm going to break your leg with my knuckles because my, you know, my intention and my training is so strong. That's great. That's awesome. You can do that. I wish I could do that. I can't do it. So here you have this wonderful drop. So remember, one application, when someone tells you that this thing means that, they're of course wrong, because it can mean anything. It doesn't only mean that. It means this and more. So you always add the and more, because there's always more applications to any particular motion or movement in anything. So if anyone tells you this is the only application, you know that they're limiting, your learning is being limited by their limited understanding. But hopefully you can still learn something. So here, boom, we're doing this motion, but instead of focusing on the knuckles downward, we're going to focus on the concept of taking a single arm, meaning you take one arm, let's say you're in 50-50 clinch, and if you don't know what that is, Google it. Clinch work in wrestling, 50-50, meaning we're both in mid-level, rather than having clinch around the neck, like Muay Thai, or having one high, one low, or having double around the back, where my back hand, corresponding with my back foot, is on the elbow of my opponent's arm. Their wrist is not fully pinned, but I have a pin ready right here, my elbow, and my other hand is through their arm in essentially the equal but opposite position. So my hand is preparing for an underhook, and theirs is also preparing for an underhook. So we're here. From this position, I can go 2-on-1. I have two hands on one arm, my opponent's arm. When you do that, you have this wonderful opportunity to drag the opponent's arm down, which oftentimes makes them want to pull up. And a lot of times we will do combinations in Tai Chi push hands where we pull someone's arm just because we know they're going to pull it up, and then we twist them to the other direction to make them step, and then you twist them back and you have a nice throw. These are combinations that are across all martial arts, but in push hands, we look at them a little bit differently. So I love to look at this one exercise from that position. I sidestep, I boom, drop here. Look at my groin, my hip. I'm opening up the hanging leg hip. So rather than collapsing into my front leg, I'm collapsing into the back leg. My weight goes down the inside of my leg. And by softening the groin area, I get all that weight to drop right down to the ball of the foot and the big toe. And once I feel the weight of the ball of the foot and the big toe, I know I have a great expression, a great posture. So I have tailbone straight down, and straight has quotations around it because I have a straight back. My back is not bent and it's not arched, it's straight. Remember, there's always quotations around straight in Tai Chi. Straight is conceptual. The straight that we establish here in this posture, in our gilded pillar posture, is going to make its way through every style of Tai Chi. And so you're going to be able to maintain that and change the angle of straight. I'm still straight, I'm just softened in the groin with the pelvis rotating on the femur. Here, on the exercise we did earlier, I'm still straight, pelvis rotates on the femur, boom. Now I'm leaning back, boom, now I'm straight again. So my back is straight, my spine is not bending much. Of course, there's always a little bit. That's why there's quotations around it. Or one of the reasons, because straight is also a concept, man-made concept. So here we go, side step, soften the groin, pull down, get that little drag. When the opponent pulls their arm back and up, that's when you do the punch, the double punch. So that's a slight adaptation, and that helped us to start bridging into the push hands drill. But before we do that, the push hands drill, I want to show you the full Cannonball road of Xinyi. And here we go. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhale, uppercut. Exhale, stepping out. And then side step. Drop and drag. Push. Side step. Notice that I switched my foot. I side step with the front foot. And my back foot comes forward. And I drag down. And then punch. Side step. Back foot comes forward. Drag down. Punch. And when you want to turn around, when you're ready to turn around, you can do either side, whichever one you really like. You can swing the back leg. You could swing the front leg. If you swing the front leg, think of it as a really big drag on an arm. You have the double 2-on-1. So I swing my front leg around and boom. That is a huge move in Tai Chi push hands. If you get that move, you really do take an opponent down. They will fall. Of course, when I say they will fall, they may not fall. I'm saying that they will fall if you do it properly and you have the right timing, right angle, etc. They may not fall if you don't have those things and you still do the move, and and then you'll just be set up for the next move, or they may be set up for a better move. So again, it all depends. But here, you can retract the back leg. You can spin the back leg out. And when I say retraction, it's essentially, I like to utilize language very intentionally. So there's a difference for me of stepping behind and across on an angle and turning versus retracting, which has with built into the words, the concept of pulling back, almost like a rewind. So when I think retraction, I think about rewind. I think about taking something back that I put out. So this leg that's already back, and you can almost think about that for the front leg too, but let's talk about the back leg. You retract it, and that spiral is created. Boom. Let's look at it from the side. I'm here, the back leg retract, boom, down. And you see I still have that, and I'm doing this little bounce here so you can see that the structure of my body maintains. The structure of my body maintains, the shape maintains as I soften the groin. So I'm not doing much movement up here. And maybe I'll do a little slight movement, but most of it is coming from the body and the posture. So let's do a side view of the retraction of the front leg. So the front leg, double punch. And this is still more of a step to me. And it's a step that spirals. So step, and then you spiral it around. It's not just a step back. You actually have to do a little bit of a spin. So step, spin, and step. So again, from over here, I step back, and then I spin off. Boom. I want you to see the footwork a little bit more. Here we go. Front leg, step and spin. And notice I'm going right to that groin again. So let's talk about, and of course, once you do that, you start the road again. So I'll do it from here. You'll see it from the back. Here's the front leg. Boom. Here. Boom. Here. Boom. Let's do it from the back leg. Retract, right, and then punch. So, before we go into the push hands push hands variation, I want to finish what I was saying about the breath work. I described the mechanics of both of the punches. The punch, of course, you can aim it at heart level, think about crashing through a rib cage, etc. But it's really about the breath work and pushing the visualization through if you're exhaling. If you're exhaling, again, this mechanic will set up, you can exhale and exhale, you can inhale and inhale, you can switch it up all you want. I recommend picking one for one lane, one rep, or one set of going in one direction, and then potentially picking another. So in other words, maybe you're exhaling here, inhaling here. I will say that for most people, it is more common to inhale here and exhale on a strike. That is, the majority of teachers I've encountered across all martial arts talk about exhaling on a strike, which is why inhaling on a strike is so valuable in my opinion, because less people do it. And there's a very particular way, or there are many ways, but there are particular ways that I know how to do it that increase my strength versus exhaling. So I want to talk about the exhaling first because it's more common. So here, inhaling, and if you really want to adhere, which I highly recommend, to the breath work, pulling in, and all the theme that we're always talking about on these sessions. Inhale, pull the color into the belly, and then exhale, push it through, punch it through. So inhale here, exhale. So notice that I'm pushing off the back leg, and that my whole body stops when the fists stop. So inhale, boom. The fists drag me forward, everything goes at the same time forward. The exhalation is pushing all the color through from the belly, through these two knuckles on either hand, index and middle finger knuckles, pushing the color through. It's great, wonderful. Now, let's talk about the inhalation on the punch. Inhalation on the punch. When you inhale on a punch, you are, in my experience from training with Grandmaster William C.C. Chen, the inhalation on what the reverse breathing Tai Chi, as it's called. The reverse breathing Tai Chi has these postures when you're doing a punch, even when he's adapted to boxing. So I have my boxing stand, inhaling out like you're pouring tea. So the punch structure is as if you're pouring tea out of a kettle. So, and even actually this morning I was doing some traditional 12 punch boxing form. Jab, cross, hook, hook, uppercut, body shot, overhand, step back, punch to the gut, drop, and come right up under the chin. So, and then reset on the other leg forward. So when doing this, I incorporate Grandmaster William C.C. Chen's breathing, reverse breathing, and I mix it with traditional breathing. So that means that I will inhale on my jab to create a very strong structured jab that feels like I'm pouring tea. So that I have this support of the elbow, the inflation of the tricep, all these things I've talked about in reverse breathing Tai Chi videos. Please look at those videos to get more insight on this if you don't or have that already, or feel free to ask questions. I'm happy to talk about that. And this movement incorporates, this Xinyi movement is going to incorporate a lot of that reverse breathing mechanics, but not necessarily all of it. But you will see lots of references in this motion. But to continue what I'm saying here, I inhale up, but then I exhale down, traditional. This is for the boxing form. Inhaling up, exhaling down, traditional. So I'm exhaling down, twisting the body and punching out, and really pushing the color through my hand. I inhale, I draw the color in like a vacuum here on the jab. I exhale and I punch out on the cross. That is part of my training. Again, when you're really fighting, sometimes all that comes in, and sometimes you're doing something that's more freestyle based on the situation. And when I say real fighting, I mean sport fighting, of course, it could be anything. But how that relates to the Xinyi drill is that here, if we do the reverse breathing, exhaling here, I love exhaling here because I'm collapsing. It feels better for my lungs. It feels like everything's dropping, going to sleep. That concept of going to sleep when you exhale is a big part of reverse breathing Tai Chi. Exhaling, going to sleep. Everything drops into the posture that you want. So you exhale not to have dead weight. You exhale to go to drop into the most relaxed, sleep-like state of the transitional posture that you want. And it's really, really important. Dropping down, you feel completely solid, you've let out all the air. And now you're going to inflate, you're going to come alive, you're going to become awake with the breath work. And the reverse breathing Tai Chi has a lot of concepts connected to fencing where the tip, the striking point, the touching point of the technique is what is being pulled as you inhale, pulled like a magnet or like the tip of a fencer's spear, the blade, to the target. So you inhale like a vacuum cleaner and you're pulled up to your destination. So exhaling down, sleep, inhale, boom, I inhale to my destination. I'm gonna do it a little faster because the Xinyi is faster than Tai Chi. I want you to see the mechanic, but I want you to understand that it really is rooted in the slower reverse breathing Tai Chi mechanic. So exhaling down, up. I'll do it going forward. So one thing you might notice is the difference of idea. One thing that I've found from growing up in a Tai Chi family and being surrounded by my parents' masters is being able to see the difference, to watch someone's attention. You might call it chi, and I think chi is a very loaded word. But attention, you can often see where someone's tension is and where their attention is in their body. And because of being able to identify tension, you can identify where the intention goes in the body and the attention goes. More specifically, the attention, intention is what the manifestation technique is, or the attempted manifestation technique. So anyway, you're here, and when you exhale, I find it easier to see when someone's exhaling because it looks like they're attempting to push, if they're doing the breath work that we're doing, they should be attempting to push their breath and the visualization about 2 inches beyond the knuckles, if not farther. So you want to exhale beyond your body. You are not doing that when you do the reverse breathing Tai Chi mechanic. The reverse breathing Tai Chi mechanic, instead of exhaling beyond the body, you're inhaling to create a shape that is solid. The concept is solid. You are like a statue when you finish at the apex of that inhalation. Boom, I've created the shape, and that is it. Now my shape might be reaching beyond a particular point, meaning that, for example, in this reach, I'm still reaching here, and if someone was here, my fingers are reaching, but my fingers are not going to be able to move any farther because the rest of my arm is at the position I want it to be. So, same thing with the knuckles. Exhale down, inhaling up. This shape comes crashing forward like a big heavy statue. Everything is supported, the body is supported, the knuckles are supported by the body is supported by the posture and the breath with intention. So it's just a little bit different. Instead of firing a cannon out, which can look very powerful, look very strong, this is about your heaviness and your weight and being able to bring the full shape forward. It's just a little bit of difference that actually has a very big effect on how you move with an opponent and what your moves actually do. So now let's get into actually, let me show you the whole road with the reverse breathing, and then we'll do the push hands variation. So here is the reverse breathing. And remember I said previously that you can do exhale, exhale, you can do inhale, inhale. You can totally do that. Maybe we'll do that at the end, but right now we're going to do exhaling, inhale. First, let's do the salutation. Inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhale. So notice that I finished on the exhale here. You might say that, hey, should we have started differently since we want to change the pattern? You don't need to change, meaning that you don't need to exhale here, inhale here, exhale here, inhale here. It's now we're getting to multi-stage breath work. So we're going to keep it the same. Inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling out. And now we're going to exhale again. Step, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, go to sleep, clamp in, inhale, and then we're going to retract it. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And we're going to retract it again. This time I'm going to take my back leg, spin around. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. So again, the inhalation and exhalation changes things. If you want to do exhale, exhale, then you might do inhale, inhale. But again, I really think it's valuable to focus on one back and forth, and then you can mix it up in freestyle, but whatever floats your boat, you want to do exhale, exhale. Now, the push hands variation. The push hands variation keeps the drop of the first one, meaning the arm drag or the shoulder, the 2-on-1 position dragging down rather than the knuckle breaking someone's kick. dragging down, and then we open up in double palm. The double palm is very helpful. This little blitzing double palm is really, really helpful for pushing someone out of the ring that's just teetering on the edge of the ring. When you're in a sport, of course, push hands, that is a key component of the sport, like sumo wrestling, pushing someone out. So this is a really, really important moment, because a lot of times you might get an opponent, you're playing, and you're trying to get them to just get out of the ring. You push them out. And then you notice, you take some space because you don't want to fall out with them. Then you notice, oh, they haven't gone out, they're right on the edge. And you might have a fraction of a second before the bell rings. You might have, which you can see in my 2010 World Cup competition, I had a fraction of a second before I pushed one of the champs out of the ring. But I had to blitz in to get it. And it's this exercise that helped me do that blitz, helped me cover ground in such a short time. So here, boom, exhale. Now, I will say this, I've done dragon style Kung Fu before, and I also do Luha Bafa, or a Luha Bafa hybrid Yang form. Dragon style Kung Fu has a cascading spine, upper spine. So the spine whips and exhale, and notice how it whips up and over and forward, up, over, and forward. So it's a great mechanic. It's not something that I do, that I don't train dragon style Kung Fu intentionally anymore, but I have incorporated aspects of the cascading spine, because Luha Bafa has the opposite, a roll of the hips upward. So Luha Bafa has this boom, roll up, and then rolling in here. So on our team, or on my time with the US Tai Chi Push Hands team, myself and my father, who were training in these styles and then bringing it to the team, we noticed that there's weakness in both of those, but they also can both complement each other combined. The dragon style, the weakness is down here, of course, because a lot of times you might be bringing your energy up, dropping it back, but also creating some tension in the meantime, and may not have the most solid base when finishing a movement like that. In push hand, or in Luha Bafa, or the water boxing Yang hybrid form, you have this here, this roll, which can be very helpful, especially when locking or crimping someone's body, keeping them pinned on your body and using it as a leverage point to move them. It can be very, very helpful, this lower roll. However, when you lean back on that upper body, you can compromise yourself by putting your spine, but an opponent might want to put pressure on the upper body once they see that lean. And somebody else, and who's a Tai Chi practitioner, someone who might be more of a judo practitioner or a wrestler may, go right for your, essentially pushing you over your own hips, or someone might reap out the legs, etc. So it's really, really important to recognize, and all this relates back to this one drill, that when you combine the roll and the cascading, you can get a wonderful, wonderful high and low pressure forward. And you'll see in some of the push hands, there's the yellow bull versus Chen Chen from, I think it might have been 2004 or 2002. It might have been 2002, which I was not at the 2002 Tai Chi World Cup, which was called the Chonghua Cup back then. The reason I mention this is because you would see them take space with the hips and take space with the upper body and cascade both to get someone out of a ring. So when it comes to this exercise, we emphasize for this particular drill, the palms pushing forward. You can exhale and push the color through the palms, but you also might see me do a little bit more of a drop here. So I'm pushing my shoulder blades forward, very similar to pretty much any any of the Tai Chi styles where they always, essentially you want your upper body, your shoulder blades, the scapula to disappear so you can increase the circulation. So when I exhale, I do that, or when I inhale, I do that. You might see a little cascade up here for me. You might see a little roll down here for me, but my intention is to have them both come at the same time. So I want to give you that little detail before moving on to the actual drill again. So exhaling down, let's do inhaling down, exhale forward. Inhaling down, exhale forward. I'm going to do it to the side now. Inhaling, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Spin around. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So again, it's not as simple as just two hands, or it doesn't have to be as simple as just two palms coming out, even though it can be. Now let's do the inhalation. Let's do the reverse breathing. So exhale down, inhale up. Notice the difference here. Let's do this again. Exhale down, inhale up. Notice that the inhaling up pulls the fingertips right here. It pulls the fingertips to the shape, to the end shape. And that end shape, I highly recommend, giving yourself some structure here to protect your thumbs and protect your fingers so they don't get caught in clothing, etc. when you're doing this type of movement, because this type of movement, especially when you're doing the reverse breathing, becomes very, very structured, meaning that all the moments in between become more structured in my experience with reverse breathing. The exhalation can feel more like I've inhaled, I've gathered all my energy, and now I'm pushing it out. That's awesome. But because of feeling like you've gathered a lot of energy, for me, I feel so full that I focus completely on getting rid of that energy. And so there might be little bits and pieces of my posture that I'm not fully aware of, because my main focus is pushing the energy out. So when I push the energy out, I use the upper body and the lower body, boom, to get that out. But when I do the reverse breathing, exhaling down, I don't feel like I have anything left here except my goal. So I've exhaled here, and my goal is over there to push this person out. The only way I'm going to be able to push them out is by having a great structure. And I'm not favoring reverse breathing Tai Chi, because I think that there's true benefits for both breathing styles. They feel very different in the body, in my experience. And I do both regularly, so I love both. But here, the attention to detail that I have, that I've come across in reverse breathing really comes into play here. Index, middle finger, and thumb pulling up. You can also pull some air in through the breath of visualization through the pinky, but really focus on index, middle finger, and thumb here. So exhaling down, inhaling up, and boom. Feel how that structure has pulled you upward. It's a much more direct line versus gathered out. When I know that I'm throwing something out and using all my effort there versus here. And now let's do the road itself, and you can feel and see the difference. Exhale it down. Actually, let's do the salutation first. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhale uppercut, exhale out. Exhale even deeper. Inhale up. Okay, and now I'm gonna take my front leg, and I'm gonna pull back and spin. Ooh. Exhale up. Inhale up. Actually, we'll do this to the side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. I'm gonna use my back leg now. Retracted. Boom. Exhaling down. Inhale. Now, you might notice that it seems and might feel at first less powerful to do the reverse breathing Tai Chi. So I challenge you to stick with it and just feel the difference of the creation of the shape and how that feels when you play with another opponent, partner, etc., and the exhaling. The exhaling feels very powerful, feels very strong, lots of things are happening. But again, you are distracted. It is easy to be distracted, I should say, when you feel so full and you want to get it all out. So starting with nothing and building up to the posture can give you more insight into what you're building as you pull all that breath in. And I mean that by how you're building your structure, what's pulling you forward, how the back leg is dragging, etc. I think both are, it's possible to do with both breathing styles, but I highly recommend giving a little bit more emphasis to the thing that you are less comfortable with, so you can have a deeper understanding. So with that said, let's finish up for today. Inhaling up. Let's actually go into our feet shoulder apart parallel. Inhaling up. Even deeper, 4-stage inhalation. One more. And exhaling to bring both feet together. We're about 2 fists apart. We're going to inhale, breath lifts the wrists, fingers reach the back wall, chest to the ceiling, push forward, weight on the toes, exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Soften the knees, inhaling up, deeper, chest up, hips forward, on the toes, exhale, butt back, fingers. Inhaling up, exhale out, inhale deep. Now let's just go pushing the color down the legs. 1 foot forward, exhale down, grab the toe. Big breath in, exhale, pull. Inhaling up, switch, exhaling down. Hold the toe. Big breath in, exhale, pull. Inhaling up, switch, 45 degrees. Exhale down, hold. Go deep, exhale, pull, inhale up, switch. Exhale down, hold. Inhale deep, exhale. Inhale up, switch, 90 degrees. Hold. Inhale deep, exhale, pull. Inhaling up. 90 degrees one more time, exhale down, hold. Inhale deep, exhale, pull yourself more. Inhaling up. Exhale, right leg, down the legs. Inhaling up, exhale, down the right side. Inhale, white light into the belly. Exhale to the left. Over the body. When I say over, bring the arms, do your best to bring the hands over the shoulders, behind you, and then exhale down the leg, back to the leg. And from here, slapping up. Up to the side, turn back. Up to the side, turn back. Shoulder. Down. Yeah, just the fingertips. Three more. Just the fingertips up. Put the hands together on the chest, strengthening the lungs. Tap around. Massage in. Floating rib up. Okay. Other side. 4 fingers on the sternum. Up and down. For the immune system. U-shape either side of the collarbone. And looking up, open the hands. Tailbone drops down, relaxing all the way through the reproductive organs. And massage up Very strong pressure. Right past the chin. And then the back of the neck. Knuckles the lower back down. There you go. And reverse it down. Bring it up. And with the hormones right here. Switch. Up on the face to the side, up and to the side, up to the side, up, over and down, under, ears. Fingers to the scalp, front to back, back to front, front to back, back to front, massage. And massage back. Wrapping, front to back to front, hollow fist, gentle banging. Front to back to front. Grab the scalp, you like that. 1, 2, another patch, other patch, and reverse it. 4 fingers at the top of the forehead, and reverse it. Ears, and temples, reverse it. Under the eyes, reverse. Heart, switch, switch. Top of the gums, bottom gums, and switch, tongue, and reverse it. Fingers out, thumbs, 1, 2, 3, grab, press and hold, and drill. Tap 1, 2, 3, circle bigger, top and bottom, and side. Top and bottom of the finger, sides, top, bottom, sides, top, bottom, sides, top, bottom, and sides. Other side, press and hold, and drill. Circle bigger, next circle even bigger, third circle biggest, and top and bottom, sides. Top, bottom, sides, bottom, top and bottom, sides with fingers, top and bottom, sides. And then 1, 2, 3, and grab 1, 2, 3. Close the eyes, inhale white light. We're going to use sound, vibrations. The vibration of sound is really, really important in the body. So we're going to inhale the visualization of white light to the belly. Exhale, you're going to say, ah, just have that primordial sound just reverberating through the organs. You want to feel the sound. So in other words, you're going to have to soften your muscles to allow the sound to penetrate and vibrate through the muscles and into the bone marrow. So we're going to inhale white light into the belly and push the light through the whole body. You're going to inhale, roll the white light from the toes to the top of the head. And then exhale, down, head to heels. Inhale, roll it up the left side, white light, foot to head. And roll down the right side, head to foot. Inhale, white light to the belly. Exhale, have it go down the legs into the ground, back up and around like a fountain in reverse, making a big bubble around you. And one more into the belly. White light, push it to the top of the head like a fountain, make a big bubble around you. Let that sound go out and up and connect to the environment, expand the awareness, the attention to the environment. Gratitude for the body, sit in the white light, visualization, feel it all inside of you, all around you. Gratitude for the space you're in, good people in your life. And thank you as usual. This has been Justice for Hires, Tai Chi to the people. And you can always join Justice for Hire from justiceforhire.app. And it's a great time where it's a show we're producing with the community. Anyone can join the cast. And anything you make is part of the cinematic universe, which is our app. Our noble cause of the week is our WeFunder crowdfunding campaign, equity crowdfunding campaign for Real World. So you can go to wefunder.com/realworld, and you will see what's happening on there. And that's our studio producing Justice for Hire. We're all about making movies and shows with the world. We know that that is the future of entertainment, is audience participation. So join us in building that future from a very unique perspective. And love you guys. I'm Coach Jan. You'll see this on my YouTube channel, Coach Jan's Tai Chi, and of course on the Justice for Hire YouTube channel as well. Every week, you can RSVP to train with us here right on justiceforhire.com or justiceforhire.app. And always feel free to ask questions, and love you guys, and see you next week.